Hello YouTubers, it's MagicTheGatheringUK here again, and today we are going to be taking a look at one of the Core Set 2019 Planeswalker decks, or more specifically the White Ajani Planeswalker deck, and then we're going to have a look at some ideas on how to upgrade it. So, a bunch of us UK YouTubers decided to set ourselves a challenge to take a Planeswalker deck from the new Core Set 2019 and look at ways to upgrade them. I've gone with the White Ajani deck, as you may have heard before. You can find links in the description below for the videos from the other UK creators who are doing the other Planeswalker decks, but I'm going to be focusing on the White Ajani deck. So be sure to check out the other ones as well if you're interested in that, in the description below. So before we take a look at the deck itself, let's have a look at the criteria that we were working towards with this upgrade challenge. Firstly, as you probably already know, the Planeswalker decks all have a handful of cards that are printed specifically for the decks and cannot be found anywhere else, such as in the main core set card list. So this basically means that these cards are unique to the Planeswalker decks and you can't open them, say, in an M19 booster pack, for example. They can only be found in these Planeswalker decks. It was decided, therefore, that these cards must remain in the deck throughout the upgrade process. They cannot be removed or changed at all, so they must be there after all the upgrades are done. I'll go through those cards in a moment with you, what those cards are, so you know exactly which ones I can't remove or take out in any way. The second criteria is to update the deck using a budget of only $5. As we all know, Magic is an expensive hobby, so finding fun, cheap ways for newcomers to the game to get involved and have a good time is really important, if you ask me. So this is why this challenge is here, is to come up with a cheap way of upgrading the deck to make it a little bit more competitive. While this won't likely make the deck F&M competitive, it should at least make it a bit more fun and powerful to play with. That's the idea anyway. And the final criteria is to update the deck using a budget of $20. This gives us a lot more room to work with while still not breaking the bank in the process. While still not likely to win an F&M, I'd say, it should at least give you a fighting chance in some matchups, and again, it'll make the deck a lot more powerful and a lot more fun to play with. So, onto the deck. So here you can see the full deck list for the base Ajani Planeswalker deck. Now, I'm not going to go into every card here, it will make the video too long, although you will see a lot of it as we go through anyway during the upgrade process. But if you do want to see more details and info about the deck list, and if you just want to check it out a bit more, then I'll put a link below where you can look at the full deck list to your heart's content. So my thoughts from looking at the list is that what it's trying to do is go for a life game plan, possibly trying to hold out in the early game to eventually win in the air with evasive beats, or a surprise big attack, blowout with the combat tricks and overrun type effects with inspired charge and the cards like that. So that's what that looks like what the deck is trying to do, at least from my brief look at it, let's say. So which of these cards in this deck list are we not able to change? Are the unique cards that you can only find in this Planeswalker deck? So let's go ahead and take a look. To start it off then, we obviously have the card for which the deck was named after, Ajani. Ajani Wise Counselor. It's obviously not the strongest Planeswalker you will ever see, but it's still pretty decent at 5 mana for 5 loyalty with okay abilities. So it won't feel too bad to keep this in the deck when we go through the upgrade process. Definitely one of the strongest cards out of these unique cards, and that's for obvious reason. It's the one card that people will be looking at when they buy these decks. So it has to be reasonably good at least. Moving on then to Ajani's influence, there's 2 of these in the deck. Definitely has its uses, but it's not a card I would normally look to play. It doesn't seem all that great to me, but there we are, it's there, we have to use it. Next up we have 4 times Silverbeak Griffin. While this card isn't particularly exciting, I would say, it is a 2/2 flyer for 2 mana, which is pretty good actually, as it goes for these sorts of flying creatures, so I would say that's pretty decent. Nothing to sniff at, but not exciting. Then we have 3 times Court Cleric. Again, not very exciting, but it fits the life game plan they were going for with the theme of the deck, so seems like an okay fit. And we also have 1 times Sarah's Guardian. It's a 5 mana cost, but it is an only one of in the deck, and you do get a bit of value for that cost. It's a pretty beefy flyer, and it gives all your other creatures vigilance, which we will actually be using a little bit later on when we come to the upgrading. So I don't mind this card. Again, not amazing by any means, but it does a fair amount, so definitely not awful. So those are the cards that I cannot take out or change in any way. These are the unique cards for this deck. We have to keep those in as part of this upgrade challenge, let's say. So with all that out of the way regarding the unique cards that we cannot change or modify at all, let's go ahead and start looking at the $5 budget upgrades that I decided to go with. So just a quick note about the pricing. The pricing I've been using here is TCG market pricing. So if the prices don't line up with your view on pricings, it may be because you're just using a different site to what I use. So just bear that in mind. So here's what I decided to remove from the deck. I decided to remove 1 times Meteor Golem, 3 times Rustwing Falcon, 2 times Cavalry Drillmaster, 2 times Herald of Faith, 2 times Oresco's Swiftclaw, 1 times Pegasus Courser, 1 times Inspired Charge, 1 times Knight's Pledge, 1 times Mighty Leap, 1 times Revitalize, 2 times Luminous Bonds, 1 times Dwarven Priest, and 2 times Basic Plains. So here's what I decided to add in replacement of those cards. 2 times Ajani's Pridemate. These are currently at 23 cents each. 2 times Cartouche of Solidarity. These are currently 10 cents each. I basically based all of these sort of basic commons at 10 cents each because that's generally what I find stores seem to charge, or at least for me. I think my local store charges 10p a common, so it seemed like a fair price to base it on. And we also added 2 times Gideon's Reproach at 10 cents a piece. 2 times Charge at 10 cents a piece, 3 times Sacred Cat at, you guessed it, 10 cents a piece. Now the big card that we added, 1 times Aketra the True at $2.26 a piece. We also have 1 times Aketra's Monument at 57 pence a piece, or cents, sorry, and 4 Aerial Responders at $10 a piece, not $10. That'd be ridiculous. 2 times Mentor of the Meek at 25 cents a piece, and 1 times Memorial to Glory at 10 cents a piece. So totaling up, this makes it to $5.19, so just over the $5 budget. But bearing in mind there are a few cards in these changes from 2019 core set, and I'm predicting that the prices for those cards, like the Mentors of the Meek and the especially Ajani's Pridemate as well, I'm guessing that will go down a little bit, so I'm guessing you will be able to save that 19 cents by the time the set comes out. So that was my thinking anyway. You could probably also buy most of these cards in bulk for a discount as well, so there's that. So I'm not too worried about being a little bit over. So with those changes in mind, this gives us the overall deck list as follows. The idea for the changes I've gone with here is to take away some of the less synergistic and costly cards and play more into the life gain, kill with flyers card advantage strategy. While this does leave the deck with hardly any removal, with the additional life gain and card advantage from the extra mentors, we should be able to survive a while as we poke through damage in the air. And with the giant Ajani's Primates we should be making with the life gaining that we have. Aketra is also a very powerful addition. While it eats most of the $5 budget, it's such a resilient threat that can generate more threats or ground blockers and repeatable card advantage in combo with the mentors that it was just too good not to include, and hopefully you agree with that as well. So that's the $5 upgrades, but what about the $20 upgrades? Let's go take a look at what I decided to go with there as well. Don't forget as well, you can always check out the description for a link for the full deck lists that I came up with for these upgrades as well, so do check that out if you want to have a more detailed look at them. But onto the $20 upgrades then. With this upgrade, I decided to go more with the go wide strategy, while still having life gain as a key component to survive until we have that critical mass of creatures to swing with. While this does change the strategy a little from the base deck design, it's still a simple concept that I feel new players will enjoy and pick up easily. And it's also much more powerful once the pieces start coming together while you play it, so it seemed like a nice upgrade for new players as well as people that just want to have a lot of fun. So here are the changes. Here's what I removed. Again, I removed 1x Meteor Golem, 3x Rustwing Falcon, 2x Cavalry Drillmaster, 2x Herald of Faith, 2x Oresco Swiftclaw, 1x Pegasus Courser, 1x Inspired Charge, 1x Knight's Pledge, 1x Mighty Leap, 1x Revitalize, 2x Luminous Bonds, 2x Dwarven Priest, 3x Basic Planes, and also 2x Militia Bugler. So what did I add in replacement of these? Well, let's take a look. So I added 2x Cartouche of Solidarity, 2x Trials of Solidarity, 4x Anointer Priest, 1x Anointed Procession, 2x Sacred Cat, 1x Eketra the True, 2x Eketra's Monument, 3x Mentor of the Meek, 3x SRAM's Expertise, 2x Dusk Till Dawn, and 2x Shephet Dunes. So this gives us a total of $19.21 in additional cards for the upgrades. This gives us the resulting deck list as you can see on the screen right now. It's unfortunate really that Anointed Procession is such a costly card at $7.26 a piece. It's taken up so much of our budget, so ideally I'd like at least one more copy in there, I think. I was wanting to put Baelish Marshal in there as well, as it would be a nice anthem effect for all our tokens and stuff we're producing in this deck, but the 3 power means it doesn't work with the Mentor, and I think the slot is just better used for things like the Anointed Priests and things like that, so ultimately I decided to leave it out. Maybe that's a mistake, let me know in the comments below. This deck is very weak to Goblin Chainwhirler. That is one of the biggest fears of this deck, I think. It is a massive problem, but I'm hoping that with the card advantage and quick nature of the token production that we can make with this deck, we can rebuild with a little fuss, even if they do wipe our board of all the tokens, and we'll be able to build it up, you know, very quickly indeed. So I'm not sure it'll be a bigger factor as I think, but I don't know, maybe that is a big deal. It's definitely something to consider. Perhaps I should have looked at having more anthem style effects in there to protect the creatures a little bit from that, but it is what it is, and I think what I've decided to go over in the end works nicely. So there we are. That concludes my suggested upgrades for $5 and $20 budgets for the White Ajani Core Set 2019 Planeswalker deck. Please do note that inevitably prices of some of the cards will change from when I post the video, so don't be surprised if you see this in a week or two or even more that the prices don't quite match up to what you see on this video. Overall, I would say this has been a fun project, and I hope that my ideas and suggestions for these two budgets have at least been interesting and perhaps might even inspire you to try your own upgrades for these decks. Let me know in the comments below your thoughts on my upgrades and what you would have done differently. Also, don't forget to check out the links to the other UK creators' videos on the upgrade ideas for the other Planeswalker decks in the description below. Definitely check those out. I highly recommend it. As always, thank you for watching. Please do hit that thumbs up button if you enjoyed the video. Please subscribe to the channel for plenty more Magic the Gathering goodness. And we'll see you again soon. Bye-bye!